Hello and welcome. Today we're going to have a look at this problem that was asked by Uber. Given an array of integers, return a new array such that each element at index I of the new array is the product of all the numbers in the original array except the one at I. For example, if our input was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the expected output would be 120, 60, 40, 30. So excluding 1, 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 gives us 120. Excluding 2, 1 times 3 times 4 times 5 gives 60, and so on. If our input was 3 to 1, the expected output would be 236. And as a follow-up, what if you can't use division? Okay, so I've just opened Atom here and I've set up my main method inside of the class. And I have my old to-do list, so I'm just going to add what I want to do to this. So the first thing I want to do in this is get the user input. I'm going to use it to make an integer array. The way I'm going to challenge this, or take on this challenge I should say, is just the first thing that came to mind for me was the nested loop. So I think we'll try that first. If we make a second array that stores the result, the product result, we can loop through the two arrays together and add or multiply the product array by the numbers that aren't in the position we're currently at. That will make more sense as I'm doing it. So let's just put in nested loop. And once we have that done, all we want to do is print the values in the array. So the last task here is to print values in solution array. Okay, so I've imported a scanner here. So in my main method, I'm just going to make a new scanner called SC. I always call my scanners SC. You can of course call it whatever you like. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is make an integer called size, and it's going to be the next line. So the first thing the user puts in, or the next integer, sorry, is the size of the array. So then we'd make an integer array, and let's call it userin equals new array, and the size will be size as predetermined. Then we're just going to loop through that array and let the user put in whatever numbers they want. So userin at I is just going to be whatever the next integer they enter is. Now I have no prompts in here, but I don't need them for now. Let's just solve it first, and if we want to after we can do that. And now let's close our scanner. We're finished with it. So that takes care of getting our user input, so we can click that off of our list. Okay, so I'm just going to take away some white space in here that I don't need. The next thing I want to do is make our nested loop. So let's first make another array of integers that's going to store the product. So it'll be our product array. If I could spell it would be great, right? Product array. Okay, and it's going to be the same size as the other one, so it's going to be a new array of size. That's all it's that. Now I'm going to make our nested loop. So for I, int I equals 0, I is less than userin.length I++. That's our first loop, and now we want for int j equals, j is going to also be equal to 0, so we're starting at the beginning of the other loop. J is less than userin.length. I could also use size here as a variable, which might be the right thing to do. So let's maybe change this. So remember that userin.length and size are the same thing. Less than size. Less than size. And I'll change it up here as well. Less than size. J++. That shouldn't be a semicolon, sorry. That's our nested loop taken care of. Okay, so the way this is going to work is our outer loop here, this for I1, is going to move through our user in array. And every time it goes up by 1, this inner loop is going to add the product of all of the numbers except for the one at I to our product array. Okay, so inside here we need to check if j is not equal to I. So this is excluding the current index from the product array. Well, from the product. Okay. And now, inside of this if, we want to check. Oh, sorry. If it's the first time we're doing this and the product array at I is currently 0, then we're just going to add a number to it, because otherwise it's going to be multiplying by nothing. So, as you know, that won't give us a result. So we add the first number to go into it, and then we multiply by the rest of them. So if the product array at I is equal to 0, then what we want to do is the product array at I, we're going to add to that our user in at j. Okay, else what we're going to do is product array at I, and we're going to multiply it by our user in at j. Okay, that takes care of our nested loop, so we can take that off our list now. So the only thing we have left to do is take care of our printing values in the solution array. So this part's pretty straightforward. We just need one final loop. For int I equals 0, I is less than size, I plus plus. All we need to do is a systemout.print, and we're just going to print the product array at I, plus let's put a space in there as well. Put them all on one line. Okay. Oh, just a little mistake here. So I'm just going to change this into I is less than size. So I have my command prompt over here, and I've just navigated to the folder. So I'm just going to compile that now. Daily challenges 2.java. Compiled with no problems, and I will run it. And let's put in, it's first looking for the size of the array, so I'll go 5, and then we want to put in the numbers. So we'll just put in the numbers 1 to 5, 3, 4, and 5. And as you can see here, our output matches what we would expect. Okay, so we've completed this challenge, and we haven't used division, so we've met all the criteria that was laid out in the challenge. However, we did use a nested for loop, so it wasn't necessarily the most efficient way. I will do a more efficient way, but I will save that for a future video, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.